Hello gorgeous, my name is Jen. Thank you so much for being here. Today, in this video, I'm going to show you my thoughts and swatches of the new NATASHA DENONA release. We have the face palette and also the eyeshadow palette. Let's start with the cheek palette. This palette has a brand new formula, which is Bounce Cream Glow. It looks yellowish here, but it actually has a pinkish iridescence once you apply it on the skin. Then you have the Bounce Cream Blush. This bronzer shade is more for deeper skin tones, but it can be used as a blush in a lighter skin tone such as mine. And then you have the Super Glowed highlighter. This palette was inspired by the Sunset palette. I'm surprised that it didn't come out together, but it looks like they would be a great match. Now here I'm going to show you some swatches and see the difference between this palette and the tan palette. This bronze cheek palette comes with a total of 15 grams, and it has, like I mentioned before, a brand new formula called Bounce Cream Glow. It's not a cream and it's not a powder, it's something in between. So in a little bit I'm going to show you how it performs. Here we have the mid-size palette. This is the bronze palette, and it has 5 mattes and 1 cream to powder, which is this one, Deep Dive, and all of the other ones are metallic dual chromes and chrome crystals. Here we see a comparison between the bronze palette and the Sunset palette. They are definitely in the same family, but in different tones and undertones. So it would be up to you if you're someone who is looking for very specific colors and you already have the Sunset palette, then maybe the bronze palette would be a nice addition to your collection. Now this is a comparison between the bronze palette and the Metropolis palette. As you can see, they also have a lot of similarities, but the bronze palette has a lot more shades of bronze and gold. To begin, I'm going to use the face palette. I'm going to start using, with a beauty blender, this shade here, which is the Bounce Cream Glow. And when I saw Natasha's tutorial, I saw that she used a sponge. It looks a little yellow here, but it actually has a little pink in it, so let's see how it looks on fair skin. I'm gonna tap right on the top because this will be the base for a highlighter. I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but I do see a little pink going on, but it's not too strong. Highlight is definitely there. It gives you kind of like the wet look, and it's a very interesting formula. I can see already that it's unlike the other tan palette that she has. This one, when you use the beauty blender, is damped. It has a little like powder residue here, so hopefully it won't have that like cast after using it a few times. For the Bounce Cream Blush, I'm going to be using this type of brush like this, which is a powder brush, not a blush brush. It's definitely more subtle, it's not too strong, so I'm going to try to build it in to see if I can see. It's very mild of a brush. It's not like it doesn't have pigmentation, it's just that to me it just looks like I added a little bronzer, but you can't really tell. Now I'm gonna go ahead with the bronze color, which is, I'm not gonna use it for bronzer because it's way too deep for me, but I'm gonna use it on the high points of my cheeks as a blush. This color seems very interesting to me because it has an orangey tone, but in my skin tone it would not work as a bronzer. It would be way too deep. And lastly, the Super Glow Nude. This is a highlighter, and I'm going to use a brush that looks like this, and I'm going to use this on the highest points of my cheeks. It definitely adds to the wet look. I went ahead and did one eye first, and I'm gonna leave you somewhere in the screen the colors that I'll be using for this look. So far, I can say that all the colors are very easy to blend. I didn't have any trouble whatsoever, so I'm happy about that. And I'm just gonna deepen the crease a little bit. So this is how it's looking. As you can see, I've used 3 colors already to achieve this one, and they all blend beautifully. For the shimmery shadows, the best way to apply them is with your finger, but I'm going to use this brush at the beginning just to create a base, and then I'm going to go ahead with the finger. As you can see, the shimmers are beautiful, and I thought that they were going to be a little less intense, but it's they're nice. They have a nice pigmentation. So this is with a brush. You can already see even using a brush is very intense, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply a little more with my finger, and then making sure that I don't have any harsh lines between the colors. I'm going to be using high degree. For the bottom lash, I'm going to be using the only color in the palette that is cream to powder, which is this one. So these are my final thoughts. For the bronze cheek palettes, I find that I can achieve a very similar, if not almost the same effect that I do with the tan palette. So in my opinion, if you already have the tan palette and you have a lighter skin tone, this might be a pass. I like the formula, the new formula. However, this the Brown's Cream Glow, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but I think it's because it's new to all of us, so it takes a little more work. But it does have a really, really nice pinky undertone, and when you turn your head, you could definitely see it. And it could be worn by itself. Like if you just want a very natural look, you could definitely just use this. As for the palette, I think it's beautiful. I love the golden tones, and it's something that I use all year round, not just in the summer. Although I've heard some people saying that it looks more like a fall appropriate palette, I think it could be used all year round. Now, if you have the Metropolis palette and you have the Sunset palette, and you don't want to invest in more golden colors, I don't see the reason to get this one, because as you saw on the swatches, they're very similar. Similar enough that you can play, and some of them I find that they are different on the swatch here, but if you were to put it on the eyes, you wouldn't be able to see the difference between using this palette and the Metropolis palette with the same tones. However, if you are someone who likes to have the entire collection, or you're very specific on the tones of golden that you like, and you know that you're going to use all of them, I would say totally go for it. This is also good for traveling, because if something happens to it, if it gets lost, if it gets broken, this is $65 versus the $130. Would I recommend this one? I think it depends on each person. If you think that you're going to be able to notice the difference between all the shades and the existing shades, that's fine. Or if you want to experiment with some different shades, I would suggest probably maybe get the mini one and start from there. I personally do not own any of the minis yet, but the ones that I have, which is the Metropolis and the Sunset, I find that there's a lot of similarities. I think it's a nice compliment to the whole collection, and it's great for traveling. But if you are not usually someone who takes the makeup traveling, or you think that it's probably gonna be too much of the same shades, then I would suggest to pass. But it's, we all makeup lovers, and at the end of the day, to each his own. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the swatches and the demo, and you think that this video was helpful to you, please leave me a comment below. And if you see fit, please subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!